This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
MyBookie presents Shake Them Ropes. Use code ROPES, double your first deposit up to $1,000 in free play. We thank them for their sponsorship. All right, roll call. Shake Them Ropes roll call time. Jeff, I am here, I think. Chris Novembrino.
A.K.A. Nove Dog, a.k.a. Metronome, because my timing is impeccable. Ow!
Let's see. T-Bar, are you here? Mace, Cubby, Annette, Torch, Buzzsaw, Cobra Command. Oh, we'll get into the fun and frivolity of this retribution angle in a bit. Chris, this morning I told you I was drinking the worst flavor of energy drink ever, and I've decided it's weird because when I'm dictator, I've decided that I'm going to get rid of all variety packs of all kind. But because usually it's like 3 flavors of something great and 1 flavor that nobody wants of anything. I have found the magical reverse variety pack where it's 3 terrible flavors and 1 good one.
Ooh.
And it's Costco's offering of the Bang energy drinks. I like Bang as a brand because there's many, many different flavors. But I got a variety pack. I used Instacart. Not researching what was in the variety pack, and I got 3 terrible flavors.
Yeah, hit me with these flavors. What are these flavors, Jeff?
One is cotton candy.
Oh.
One is like unicorn, rainbow unicorn, and one is Star Blast. It's like they don't even have like real flavors to them. They're just names.
Star Blast.
Yes. Yeah, and then the 4th one's peach mango, which is pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, that one doesn't sound too bad. The other
like the
3
sour
sound
apple
like
one is great. The lemon drop one is great. It's the one with these nondescript names where they can just give you a color.
Rainbow vomit.
Yes. Unicorn fart or something like that. And you're just like, what am I drinking? What is this weird flavor in my mouth? But this cotton candy one I had this morning is one of the worst things I've ever tasted.
Oh, cotton candy is not a flavor that synthesizes very well.
But I have to get rid of them, and I want the caffeine. It's like caffeine is nothing but it's nothing but a means to an end for me at this point. It's just something to get me going in the morning.
Hawkins, let me speak to you as a wizened man here this morning, Saturday morning. As someone who has been chastened by terrible experiences over the last 24 hours, sometimes it's not worth it to tie your stomach up in knots and go through the retching and the pain. Inside baseball, people, Shake Them Ropes tape, got delayed by 1 day because your boy, the Nove Dog, a.k.a. Metronome, my timing is impeccable. Ow! Nove Dog.
Are you going to do this throughout the show?
You like the running gags. The people like the running gags more than anything. But yeah, dude, there was no way I was going to pull off any of this crap yesterday. Yesterday, like, you wouldn't have gotten much of a show out of me at all. Might have been interesting for some people. But
well, the way you phrased it too was weird. It's like, I got cramps. I was like, should I do The Departed? Would you like some cranberry juice? It helps my girlfriend.
Honestly, like that, if I had that on hand, I probably would have been sipping on that. What did help yesterday was I had bought a Dr. Pepper at the grocery store the other day because I am routinely a sucker to the impulse buy a soda ploy. They put those sodas at the front, Hawkins. I fall for it every time if it's Dr. Pepper. But I had one on hand and it was a lifesaver yesterday. So Dr. Pepper, nature's medicine.
Are you able to get the cream soda Dr. Pepper where you are?
Yeah, that's
because you're in Texas. You're in a state that cares about good soda quality.
Yeah, no. And that stuff, it is the nectar of the gods. But yesterday, dude, when I couldn't have held down anything else. Even this little 20 ounce of Dr. Pepper, that was all I had for 10 hours yesterday. I was just slowly taking a sip of it periodically to wet my whistle. But boy, that was a lifesaver yesterday, and it felt good. It was carbonation does help when you've got stomach cramps.
Starting out with a little bit of sad news. This week, Road Warrior Animal passed away, and it was about Thursday or Friday where I just yesterday, where I sat down and I kind of went, we now live in a world where the Road Warriors no longer exist. And that's sad, because if you are a younger fan, or even Chris's age, I don't think you quite understand how huge the Road Warriors were. Like, by the time they came to the WWF as the Legion of Doom, and they were given a ventriloquist dummy and Sonny, find the difference. Their popularity had waned a little bit, but in the early to mid 80s, especially where I grew up in Crockett country, you go to a house show, you're in the Norfolk Scope, smells of stale cigarette smoke and beer. Maybe it's a TV taping, maybe it's a good house show. But you hear, like, the Rock and Roll Express, if you watch old, not doctored on the network tapes, you get the girls screaming kind of pop. Like, oh, the beautiful guys are coming down, yay! You know, that kind of thing. Or as we like to call it, what do we call it? We call it, like, thirsty female fan pop, like we thought Humberto Carrillo could get.
Yeah. Well, because it's different from the Cena treble and bass pop thing.
Yes.
That was like the kids, too.
Yes, but the Road Warrior pop, and I talked about this on Music of the Mat when we talked about Iron Man, but you hear the first doom, 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 and everybody screams. You want to know why, Chris? Because someone's going to get murdered that night, and we're going to see a ritual killing, and that's not legal in most places at the time. But, like, you see the Mokies in the ring, and you hear Iron Man, you're thinking we're going to see somebody killed tonight, Chris, and that entire place just screams. Like, it makes you deaf for 3 days, and I don't think we're ever going to see a tag team. Like, Hogan at his peak was the peak reaction. I think the Road Warriors were a very close second.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, like, there is literally a pop named after the Road Warriors called the Road Warriors Pop. So, I mean, think about that. When we gauge crowd reactions based in comparison to the Road Warriors at their peak, that does really say something about them. And I think, to your point, the reason we don't think of Hawk and Animal in the same breath as singles talents like Flair and Hogan, though I think you make a pretty good case that we ought to, is because, like, you know, Hawk and Animal were not good promos. Like a lot of the fundamentals weren't there. But in terms of being over with the audience and connected with the audience, Road Warriors had it. Like,
they are the epitome of 80s wrestling.
Yeah.
Me. They are jacked up, pharmaceutically enhanced, larger than life characters with the face paint. I mean, every promotion tried to get a Road Warriors knockoff going, including WWF, which had Demolition, and they brought in the Powers of Pain to originally be their version of the Road Warriors too. I wouldn't say they were bad promos though either, Chris. They had look, Animal would just be pure fury, and then Hawk would kind of be that, well, the smart alecky thing going. When you watch their matches, though, Animal was always the hot tag for the Road Warriors, too. I mean, he was the energy of that thing, and I'm just sad because Animal seemed like such a cool guy, too. He's the guy who kind of he embraced both family and, once he was done with wrestling, the wrestling subculture in terms of going to all the conventions and embracing that and taking photos with the fans. He showed up at that first All In, I believe, as part of that opening. I mean, he knew what he was, and he never held himself off as aloof to the rest of the fans after the kayfabe era died.
Yeah, I don't know what else to really say about Animal, other than, like, It's just weird to think that it was weird to see his like lifespan and realize like he was a few years younger than my parents. Like he was so young. I mean, you know,
he was only
young.
60 when he passed away. So,
yeah, 60's young, man.
Yeah, so I mean, if you look, if the Road Warriors, this is mostly for people who are in their 20s right now. If you don't get the big deal about this, go to YouTube if you can. Find some other means to watch them in, in Georgia, in Crockett, before they made the jump, unedited by the network, which is trying to get rid of the Ozzy Osbourne music. Listen to that crowd.
Yeah, you need the vibe thing.
You need the vibe.
Yeah, you do. It's super important.
Yeah, because it sets a tone, is what it does. It sets a tone of what, for me at least, wrestling should be, and that's people coming to look for a fight. And that's why the Road Warriors being involved in like the war games, those first couple war games were so important, because it's like you have the Horsemen who they're tough and they're bad and they're the best and they're all these other things, but they're not the Road Warriors. They're not these big monsters who try and kill you.
The Horsemen were winners.
Yes.
The Road Warriors were tough.
Yeah.
And like that was like that allowed the Horsemen to do their dynamic thing where the Horsemen would try to be tough, but like they weren't as tough as some of these other people. They just won more. And the Road Warriors were really good foils for that too. I guess my other thought on this is like, if you think about like tag team wrestling, the Road Warriors ended up kind of creating a template that you have just seen carried through to this day here, whether it's like the Acolytes in the APA, like in the mid to late 90s when like they first transitioned over to the APA when they're still kind of the Acolytes. What they're doing, Farouk and Bradshaw are doing at that point is the Road Warriors gimmick. Like they're just, going Road Warriors on people. Over in WCW, remember when they paired Brian Clark and Brian Adams as Chronic, and like that's essentially what those guys are doing. It's like stoner Road Warriors. You've seen this like time and again. The Road Warriors, like this template of two bruising dudes who take no prisoners, like it works.
It was the All Japan thing in the early 90s. I mean, Hanson and Brody and the Miracle Violence connection and Bigelow and Vader. And, that's all you need is two big ass kickers. The other thing that they did, and it became a little bit of a trope from time to time, but they were really, for me, the first act that could get away with no selling for heat. Like, there'd be times where, like, I think, like, Hawk would just jump up from a pile driver.
Yeah.
And you'd kind of believe it. That doesn't work on him because he's a big bad dude. And unfortunately, it's become more and more of a trope. But
that also created certain limitations
yes.
to what you could and could not do with Hawk and Animal.
And what you could believe. Yeah. You'd always have to screw them out of the like they never lost unless they were screwed out of it or
and they could be, from my understanding from testimonials, and I've just heard enough that I have to assume that there's some truth to this, is that, like, they were very particular about finishes. And
they're protective of the gimmick.
But, like overprotective. And I do think, like, they're a good example of how you can be too protective, and sometimes you've got to give a little to get more.
I am baffled because this will help us transition into other things. Vince just did not get them. Or by the time he had access to them, he didn't care because he had already created knockoffs of them. But WWF Legion of Doom sucked. There's no other way to put it. I mean, Ellering came in for a while, and then they gave him a ventriloquist dummy, and then they always wanted to use the goodwill of the Road Warriors to try and get the Legion of Doom over. And they never really wanted to go full bore because Vince didn't create the Legion of Doom. And so they were always kind of looked at as kind of castrated versions of themselves. Like, you could have a good match with the Steiners, because the Steiners are going to beat the crap out of you anyways. But in terms of the gimmick, Vince just had no clue how to push them either.
No. I don't know that Vince was particularly interested in pushing them either.
That's true, because they're a tag team, and tag teams,
Okay, so then here's the other part of this too. Go back to what we were just talking about from them being particular about finishes. Who else is particular about finishes, Jeff?
Yes. Going into the news, we've had an outbreak of COVID throughout the wrestling world, especially the Florida version of the wrestling world. NXT, AEW, CMLL, all having issues with COVID right now. Apparently, an NXT talent had a house party, which involved talent and officials from both companies that tape in Florida, which has been a issue. The only two known people that and we don't know how they got it, if they were at the party or not. Chelsea Green announced that she had tested positive, and Lance Archer, which threw a wrench in the main event of AEW Dynamite this week. Guys, I know it's been a while. I know it's been 6 months, 7 months, when they said it was going to be 14 days to curb. It ain't time yet for house parties. It ain't time yet for gatherings. Cut this crap out.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, you gotta, I talk about this a bit on the other show, but you gotta look at the national numbers, but more importantly, wherever you are, you have to look at what the daily caseload is in your particular neck of the woods. And if you are in a place like, I don't know, let's say it's Florida, that has a high daily caseload, you really need to be mindful of the risks, because, for example, if you get someone else sick, one of your peers, you're taking them out of the work cycle. They're not making money. You're taking money off of their pockets in addition to getting them sick. Like, you just gotta protect yourself, and you gotta be mindful of others too.
Yeah, it's the underlying conditions thing that bugs me about, because you never know.
What's
gonna set it off.
No, that's also true. I mean, you don't know. And I mean, even with quote unquote athletes, sometimes people can be people who are athletes and performers and still have underlying conditions. And there's still so many unknown unknowns when it comes to COVID and how it interplays with other underlying conditions and how it affects people.
Tegan Knox suffered a torn ACL, or what is believed to be a torn ACL again. This poor woman. This is like number 3. I think it's a second one on one of the legs, or I don't know if it's a third one, but as someone who has torn their ACL, sometimes it never comes back as strong as you'd like it to. I thought Tegan Knox was possibly a face of a brand type of talent. Of course, with the caveat, if pushed correctly. But she's going to be out for a long, long time now. It looks like this could be career-threatening.
I'm really pulling for her, but I was on the other side of this conversation, and as someone was born with a bad knee, and has had surgery on it, and it's improved but never gotten fully right, I've always felt like she's on borrowed time. When she came back and she was in the double knee braces like Stone Cold Steve Austin, I was like, nah, I know how this goes. Like, when you got a bad wheel, you have good days, you have bad days, you can stretch it out, you can maintain it, but every single step you take, it's a little off center and it hurts a little bit. I know it. I do it every day.
That's why I cringed when Seth Rollins came back too early, I thought, and was wearing the knee brace underneath his gear, and you're just like, and he's doing all the dives and stuff. I'm like, you should be putting the kibosh on that in the match planning stage until you're sure you can do this. He's one of the lucky ones, it looks like. But yeah, there's a reason why
you can beat the odds. I'm not look, dude. I mean,
I'm not saying you can't.
Right? Yeah. If you got a 20-1 shot, that's a 5% chance of making it, baby. I'm not saying you can't win, but
look, I think one of the smartest things football players started doing was wearing the knee braces as a preventative measure. If you watch the offensive linemen, I have one of those braces right now, the kind that they're kind of thigh high, but it goes from like thigh to the middle of your shin bone, and it gives your knee stability. I have one of those for like when I was trying to get my legs back up for powerlifting, because I used to be able to do quite heavy loads on an incline press, but now it just hurts my knee too much to do it. But watching football, and you'll see like some of the bigger programs have those braces on both legs for their offensive line. Just as a preventative measure, I think that's one of the smartest things they've ever done.
Hey, look, it is a lot easier to take preventative steps from getting injured or getting sick than it is to deal with the incurred costs and also just the physical recovery from being injured or being sick. So I'm in favor of people doing whatever they need to do on that. And like, for example, if my finishing move involved throwing my knee at my opponent, I might be thinking about reassessing that if I was going to come back to wrestling.
Oh, hey, she can hit her. It's an opponent with a knee brace.
Right. Yeah. There's just, I mean, come on. Like, and that wasn't ultimately what did it in, but like, you just,
how about a choke slam?
Right. Stone Cold Stunner?
Stunner,
since she's going to be looking like Austin out there anyways.
Naomi has been out for a while to remove a rather large fibroid. Reading about those, these are things not to be messed with. So
what are these things? Hit me.
Okay. Fibroids are abnormal growths that develop in or on a woman's uterus.
Oh. Okay.
Sometimes these tumors can become quite large and cause severe abdominal pain and heavy periods. Something neither of us have to experience.
No. Look, I think I'm too weak to handle that on a monthly basis.
I mean, you were on the shelf last night.
I'm a fucking delicate. I'm sorry. I'm a delicate flower.
Yeah. Glenn Joseph has left NXT UK due to personal reasons, and Jim Smallman has been promoted to head writer of NXT UK. Joseph and Smallman were both the former co-owners of Progress Wrestling. I like Smallman a lot. I don't know about the creative side of it in terms of who was the more creative mind between Joseph and Smallman. NXT UK is now back and looks like they've never missed a beat, which is both good and bad.
Yeah. This week's show was better than last week's.
We can save it.
Oh yeah. I mean, low bar, real low bar.
Yeah. Two more lighter things. Take a victory lap for this one. WWE announced its own platform for virtual meet and greets and talent interactions. You can purchase 2 minutes of private one-on-ones with talent, personalized autographs, and be able to download your meet and greet. When you don't know the answer is always money. And that's why they took him off a Cameo, it looks like.
This is going to be one of those things that is not going to sit well with certain talents. I'm not going to say it's going to be a needle mover for
This is the new tout. That's all this thing is.
Oh yeah, no. This app is not. No, what people are going to be upset about.
Oh yeah,
is the fact that they are not having an ability to build out their brand on other platforms like Twitch and YouTube and that sort of thing. Which is, if you are going to be an entertainer in today's era, like what that entails is being on a number of different platforms. And I think a lot of the people you see on WWE television and AEW television, Kip Sabian, Miro, really good examples, they get how this works now. Wrestling is but one of the platforms. In addition, you're also a video game streamer, and like it's a changing nature of the business. It certainly does away with the kayfabe era, of course. But that's how these performers see them having like a sustainable and stable brand that has like a stable level of exposure, and they're not necessarily at the mercy of weird booking patterns at their place of employment on the wrestling show.
I have never faulted anyone for being able to do these things, especially some of the female talents, because a lot of it is based on cosmetics, and cosmetics don't last forever, especially like Alexa Bliss, who has a has a very huge Disney addiction, and those things can be expensive, Chris.
Oh no! I have a Disney friend in my life. I helped him do some soundtracking stuff like years ago. But I went over to his house. I did not realize he was this avid of a Disney collector. But
Disney World ain't cheap,
dude. He started explaining to me how much this Disney memorabilia was, and I was trying to like put that in the context of guitar equipment. My dude could have had a studio like that would have put any of my friends to shame with his Disney memorabilia, just in Mickey Mouse's.
Those stuffed animals aren't going to pay for themselves.
And the posters, and yeah, I mean, they cost.
What are you laughing at,
dollars.
wrestling fanboy? Yeah, look, I don't have a lot. I have 4 pops. That's about and a box of 4 Horsemen action figures. But I don't play with them either, so I guess we can't talk. I guess it's one of those.
Well, I mean, like, all I can say is, you take all of my guitars together, and I think I could get maybe what is like $3,000 to $5,000 get you in Disney memorabilia? Not that much.
I used to do comics, but I never collected for worth. It was always just stuff I read, but then I did the math on how much I spent in my youth on comic books, and I was just like, dude, I could have bought a car with all
No, you know the one I'm kicking myself over now, since we're doing the old man stuff here, is CDs. I'm killing myself over CDs.
CDs and DVDs. DVDs were a big one with me.
Lord, I could have had a Gibson Les Paul in my early teens if I had just stopped buying music.
In our defense, though, Chris, I will defend ourselves. We did not anticipate streaming. So, but also...
Oh, no, and when Napster showed up, I was, like, all over it. Like, because I'm old enough to have used Napster.
I have friends, though, who are now convinced to have the physical media. Because at least if you have the physical media, they can never take it away from you, like streaming platforms now do. Like, I'm very happy to have recordings of certain wrestling events. Because I know WWE will just screw that up.
Well, that's the thing.
And
that's
also
the thing
copyright
with the network.
claims and things like that.
Yeah, the thing with the network, especially with WWE, is that like they are prone to go in and edit stuff and polish stuff up and change stuff. So like,
this doesn't look good for us. Let's get rid of this person from continuity completely.
Or like, if you're, let's say, a Megadeth fan, I don't know if you knew this about Megadeth, but Dave Mustaine got a wild hair several years back and decided that during the process of remastering all the classic Megadeth albums, he was also going to do the more uncommon thing of going in and retracking parts on these albums recorded in the 1980s.
Oh, he George Lucas'd it?
Yes. And as you might expect, the results are not great.
Oh, when they did the director's cut of the first 3 Star Wars, I thought this is the dumbest thing they've ever done. And then they made prequels. Oh boy.
Yeah.
So your wild hair this week for wrestling shows was the officiating.
Yes. The officiating is just, it is very, very strange. And I get that this sounds like, quote, the rules of professional wrestling.
Secret rules that certain companies may have about wrestling?
Yes, well, but like when a company puts out a piece of merchandise that you can pay money for that includes the rules of how the wrestling is done on their show, like, should that mean something? If you're the one writing the rules...
It's all a grift, Chris, get your money.
I get that. But it should mean something is my point here. There is what I understand it to be, Jeff, and what it is.
Stupid Mark.
So the finish on Raw. Can you take me through the finish between future Hall of Famer Slapjack, probably future world champion here, I'd say, in the next 6 months, and
Slapjack.
Did I call him Flapjack?
Slapjack. Yeah.
Slap. Now, do you go
2 words? I believe
You
I
go
don't think
2
it's
words.
one.
Okay, so it's first name Slap, last name Jack.
Yes, on his official, on his ID, on his work ID for the contracts they signed. The anarchic group that signed contracts. They
to
have
be on one
deals.
brand, to be on
Yes.
one, they don't even get the wild card benefit.
Mr. Jack, could you please come in and sign this contract that gives you full freight to come in and cause? Oh, here even says in your contract, you're here to cause havoc. Please come in and sign this. I will do my best. I kind of. All right, so because T-bar, T-bar, not just T-bar.
I call
or
it T-hyphen bar.
Like T'Pow from the old 80s band T'Pow. It could have been T-bar or something like that.
T'Pow is also, she's on Voyager. She's,
Yes, it's a Star
Trek.
Trek.
I'm sorry. She's on Enterprise.
It was actually, it was an original Star Trek character, and they named the band after that great one-hit wonder, Heart and Soul. T-bar or T-bar hit Slapjack and was making a save while Lashley had him in the full Nelson. It wasn't actually a DQ. Because there's some rules about how an illegal man can't hit a legal man or it'll be a DQ, and that includes why eye pokes and low blows are illegal, and that's why you need the distraction.
Well, then, okay, so then how do you break up a pinfall? How does that make sense?
Under the unified rules of the NWA, apparently, because it's in the NWA rule book. They had a rule book from like long ago, like the 70s, like a pamphlet or something. But I think WWE has this too. You are allowed one breakup of a pin.
That's also very weird, and I feel like that doesn't get held up. I feel like there's more than one breakup on a regular basis.
I get that feeling too. I
don't sit there and take tallies of that, but
I don't think
that
AEW adheres to those unified rules. But
I don't think FTR is pushing for the one breakup rule either.
Look, I think they are. I think
that
FTR,
would actually be really funny. Is if like they try to get that implemented.
Oh, especially given the angle on Wednesday where it's like they're doing the old Tully thing. If you get to the time limit, it's counted as a win, no matter what, which is fine. I don't mind that. That's a good heel move. You know, they're doing kind of the beat the clock challenge. A lot of territories had this where they'd have a TV champ, but there'd be a time limit on the match, and then they'd go the extra mile where if the heel was holding the title and you got to the time limit, it wasn't a draw because records matter and the pay scale and all the other kayfabe stuff. Well, the Revival's now going to do that. The Revelation. That's what the FTR. Just call them FTR.
Yeah, I just call them FTR at this point. I
think they'd appreciate the one breakup rule because they've been advocating for tag ropes to be enforced as well. So I think they'd like that.
I think they would like that. I mean, I just think it's also just a headache for everyone working the match. Like it's an annoying, and it also leads to ungratifying finishes. Now, for a heel finish to gotta get out of it easily, like I get how it works, but like a referee does not want to have to end a match because you just broke up the second pinfall. But then to continue on. Let's go over NXT UK. So now I get what they were trying to do in the main event. And this main event between Piper Niven and Kaylee Ray is, if you've got some extra time here and you are looking to watch a little extra wrestling this weekend or watch some WWE product that's not going to offend your sensibilities in a deep way, this Piper Niven and Kaylee Ray match is well worked. Kaylee Ray's
Ray
great.
Is so great.
No, she's great, man. She's I think way underappreciated. She's a really, really great worker. And I get what they're trying to do in this match. I get what the long-term plan is. We're turning Kaylee Ray babyface slowly. I like that. I'm into that. She's got edge. She's spicy. I'm into it. But they had a bizarre angle during this match. Spoilers if you don't want me to ruin it for you, but I can't really explain the situation any other way. Now I'll continue. So during the match here, she goes to run a knee into Piper Niven. Piper Niven's propped up against some steel steps, and she injures her knee, kayfabe, against the steel steps here. The referee goes over to Kaylee Ray and goes, not do you want to stop the match. He says that and then goes one step further and says, I will throw out this match and you can hang on to your title, which is ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
And you know, that's why I've hated this generation of officiating where, you know, you have to clean up a cut or a blood, or if somebody gets hurt, you have to check on them. The whole point of a wrestling match is to hurt your opponent.
Yes. And so it puts Piper Niven in a really ridiculous situation.
She's throwing a tantrum. She's throwing a temper tantrum outside.
And you kind of can't blame her for being mad because, like, from her standpoint, it sure looks like the officials are all in the tank for Kaylee Ray. Oh, no. A competitor is getting hurt during the course of a wrestling match. Stop the presses. Like, they went for a move and they missed. Like, what? And then this continues. After Kaylee Ray waves it off not once, and also uses the officials as like as a human shield so she can get a strike in on Piper Niven before resuming the match here. I get this within the context of her slowly transitioning within a turn here. My issue is this official continuing to ask her, do you want to stop the match? I'll let you hang on to your title. You could just quit and exit to the main menu.
She should have said yes, but instead they do this. Oh, she's a brave fighting champion. No, she's a heel. If they give you that chance and they go, I can hold on to my title. Yeah, stop the match.
No, the only reason that they did do this because this is supposed to be in service of a slight turn, but they didn't want
a turn, Chris. I don't.
No, but that's why they have Ginny staring at her at the end of it.
Too.
Yeah. So no, like it is, but they were so driven on that part of the project that they didn't think that like this makes no sense as a context or a backdrop for rules, and you can't really explain it away. I mean. If anything, I hope Piper Niven kind of like lingers on this and thinks she got screwed. Because, I mean, she did in the world of kayfabe. Like, it's pretty ridiculous that the refs changed the rules of wrestling all of a sudden on her.
Yes, if a champion cannot continue, they should lose the title.
Right.
That's the only way to do it. I mean, I found it a bit histrionic, to be honest with you. I was like, okay, we get it. She's hurt. I was just waiting for it's all a fake. But then Piper Niven gets up, drags her back to the ring, and the match continues. I was just like, this is the weirdest officiated match I've ever watched since Monday.
Right. Yeah. And then I want to say something weird happened last night on SmackDown, too. Maybe?
Oh, was it... I can't remember which one it was. Let me take a look at the SmackDown rules. But in terms of that NXT UK, that Saxon Huxley Walter match was a manly little match for what it was.
Yeah, that was fun, right? Like
that last backslap got me getting goosebumps. I went, ooh, that's something there.
Look, I've made my concerns and views about the problems with NXT UK very clear here, but sometimes, I mean, like, sometimes it's perfectly watchable stuff. Like, yeah, Walter versus Saxon Huxley, it's exactly the type of match you think it's going to be, but within the template of that type of match, it was a very well-worked version of that type of match. It was fun. I had fun.
I found the thing on SmackDown. Was it the Alexa Bliss Lacey Evans thing?
Yes.
For kicking too much ass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Go ahead.
No. But was there anything else on NXT UK? Where
the Hunt and Pretty Deadly had a 12-star match as usual.
Okay, so like
the Primate has a manly beard going. That is a fluffed up. He's getting a perm for that thing. It looks like
he's a fun hot tag. I've said that before, but I will say it again. I think Primate's a sneaky good hot tag. And. Yeah, no, I enjoyed this match here. It was not super long, but another perfectly watchable, well-worked match. These guys have had lots of matches, unlike other forever pairings. The Hunt and Pretty Deadly honestly doesn't really get old, because it never really overstays its welcome, and they don't do a ton on the characterization. They don't
over gimmick it.
Yeah, exactly, and like these guys. it makes sense that these guys wouldn't like each other. And the other thing I will say in favor of NXT UK on this show is I think the backstage universe that they kind of created in this episode is cool. People intersecting with one another, like the Hunts talking with Mark Andrews and
I'll go against that a little bit.
Okay. All right, go against it.
After I make a point. I don't mind Eddie Dennis and Pretty Deadly.
No, I think that's going to be fun. I'm into that.
I don't mind that at all. I think if they're going to transition, look, we said that the Schoolmaster gimmick was a winner for Eddie Dennis a long time ago. If he's not going to be back full time because of injuries or whatever, and I don't know what the case is with him being a mouthpiece is not the worst thing in the world.
No, and him being like this story already kind of writes itself, right? He sees these young guys who are like what he once was in his mind, a decade and a half ago. And he's going to teach them all of his secrets or whatever, all of his secrets or whatever. And he'll be the mouthpiece for these guys. And I like it. I'm into it.
Now the world that they're building backstage is too much SmackDown, Raw, NXT. We're backstage behind the scenes of a television show, office politics meets 30 Rock type thing. I don't like it.
I find Pete Dunne's role on the program to be weird right now, where he's like a weird NPC. Like, I mean, I think he'll be back in the ring sooner rather than later, but like the fact that he's just in charge of this Heritage tournament. And I guess that's the other big story we need to talk about coming out of this show is like, they announced that they're doing a British style, World of Sport style inspired tournament here.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think they're going to handle that? I am not bullish on it.
I think a lot of it depends on who the mystery entrant is, and I think that's going to be Pete Dunne.
I think it's going to be Pete Dunne too.
And then they may just turn him heel here because I like him as a babyface, but they're going to do something different with him. I don't know. I mean, I like the British style. I like rounds. I think I'm ashamed that Cassius Ohno is not a part of this because he could figure out creative ways to work the rules, so to speak.
He might make some sense. He might make some sense because you got Trent Seven there. So whoever
it's a tournament that doesn't mean anything. That's my problem with it. It's not for like number one contender or anything like that. It's just here's the Heritage Cup, which is like the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and the Mae Young. It used to be Mae Young Battle Royal for women. We're just gonna give this gimmick trophy to someone, and they're gonna carry it around like a de facto title until we decide it's too stupid to carry around anymore. I'm not a fan.
I think the winner will ultimately get a title shot. So,
yes.
like I'm not. I get what you're saying. It's not explicit right now. They could always announce that really at any point in the tournament. And my gut tends to say like it's going to end up being a vehicle for a title shot.
Or if they're making this a secondary title in the
the Heritage. Brand. Okay, and they're making like a Heritage title.
Like they turn it into like a belt. Eventually.
Right. Yeah. The Heritage title.
I don't mind that.
I don't mind that either. I think that's kind of an intriguing way to go. It'll be interesting. What's Tyler Bates' status?
I don't know.
Okay.
Offhand, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's gloss over anything from Wednesday. One piece of news I forgot to mention. Chris Jericho has filed a trademark for the term million viewer man.
And here I was, nostalgic for the halcyon days of yore when I was getting screamed at that 1 million viewers didn't matter. And now we're filing for copyrights.
Yeah. Look, AEW's strong on TNT. That Tuesday night show that they did was still ninth for the night.
That leading off of basketballs really helped them.
Yeah.
I think
it makes people complain that they're not getting the show on time, but at the same time, it keeps keeps the TNT. I mean,
it keeps it relevant. Yeah, people are seeing it.
Also, anybody who just has the channel on and might have fallen asleep during Inside the NBA counts as a viewer.
Yep.
So I don't mind it. Yeah.
No, I think that this pairing's working really, really great for them. It'll be interesting when the NBA season is not on and they are not getting to ride alongside the incredibly strong television product that is the NBA playoffs, do the numbers settle back down into the 900, 800s? My gut tends to say yes, but hey, when you are getting wins, take the wins. Take the wins. Analyze where they're coming from, but take the wins. Sure.
Not a lot on that I want to go over through AEW, to be honest with you, but I did like the Jericho MJF promo. I thought that's a good way to do humor.
Yes.
In many
yeah,
ways.
I thought that was a fine way to do humor. Look, Jericho has, like, he had goodwill with me at one point here early in 2020, but like whatever on-air goodwill I've had towards this guy has kind of gone away. Cause, like, you know, I kind of get how this dude's working with young talent gimmick works now. He does what I refer to as the Sisyphus push. You know Sisyphus, right? Dude who gets cursed by the god to push a rock all the way up. He gets close to the top of the hill, and then what happens to him? He becomes Scorpio Sky in the undercard again. Or Darby Allin.
It's the TNA thought that, if you put him in with a guy from WWE, he'll become a bigger star.
Yeah, but Jericho has really been flattering himself on this idea that he's been elevating
that he's
talent.
making people.
No, and if anyone's got a claim to that right now on that roster, it's Jon Moxley. He has a far stronger claim to that, working with Will Hobbs and also working with Darby Allin, where I do think he has helped to, take Darby Allin to that next step up in a way where you work with Chris Jericho and you've worked with Chris Jericho. I also think in the case of Orange Cassidy, it was just a mistake to beat him this week for the TNT title. Like, he needs to be winning stuff, not losing stuff.
Loved the Eddie Kingston Moxley match, though.
Oh yeah.
Loved the slaps.
Yeah,
loved
that
the
was
slaps.
Anna Jay versus Brandy Reynolds. That was good.
Oh, on Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that outkicked its coverage for me because I wasn't expecting much out of that. But that was
that was sneaky good. I enjoyed that.
And I will take Kenny Omega to task. He's not my favorite promo, as I'm reminded I'm consistently wrong as from the Cat Lady. The Cat Lady loves to troll me about Kenny Omega.
But she's not right when it comes to Kenny Omega's promo.
I agree. He's
actively annoying and bad.
I need her to listen to me right now. You are wrong about Kenny Omega. Wrong. But Kenny Omega mocking Uno's physique, I will not have that. Brother doesn't like cardio. I get it.
I mean, okay, so, like, it was beyond, like, mocking the physique. It just didn't really kind of fit into what they're trying to do right now.
Right.
Yeah. I'm also, okay, I wanted to ask you this. I never got to ask you this off air, so I'll ask you on air. What do you think they're doing with Evil Uno right now? Is this like a slow face turn with him? Because he keeps doing nice guy stuff.
I think he's I put it in comic book reference, and I don't know if anybody else will get this. He's the Glorious Godfrey to Mr. Brody Lee's dark side. He's the PR guy. He's the guy who comes... There's a character like this also in Avengers Endgame, but he's a little too recent for me to know him offhand. He's the guy, you've been freed. The benevolent Mr. Brody has come to save us, and he's that character. I think it's mostly fake. It's fake sincerity.
Like, I'm talking about his, like, nice guy stuff with Colt Cabana, how he's always, like, palsy with Colt.
He's the good cop of the Dark Order. He's hey, you know what? This is a family. You have to stay. He's the guy who's gaslighting the faces to stay in the Dark Order. He's that guy.
Why did he send away all the Dark Order in the match here this week?
I don't know.
I'm just asking. I don't have a hard answer here. To
be truthful, I'm just making stuff up right now because I forgot all the details of this thing that you're remembering.
It stuck out to me. It's just interesting. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's interesting. I'm into it. I wanted. It's nuanced in a way that normally a lot of stuff in wrestling is either fairly obvious or sometimes painfully obvious or too obvious, like in the case of Retribution. And yeah, like this is interesting, and I was just was wondering what your thoughts on it were. Other things I like: Scorpio Sky versus Ben Carter. Oh, didn't Ben Carter confirm that he had COVID too? Yeah.
Yes, he's another one.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Bad timing. He had a really nice match here. And then Matt Sydal. He's an interesting guy. He sure is. His promos are sure.
How so?
Okay. The promos are weird. Commentary doesn't really know what to do with him at this point.
Well, yeah, the commentary on that show was, yeah.
Yeah. On the late night Dynamite was like it is. They are clearly having fun, and sometimes you have fun while they're having fun, but it's not good commentary.
Yeah, it's loosey goosey. It's we're taping this as a throwaway. Let's just all have fun and watch some wrestling, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Before we move on and do the rest of Wednesday and the main roster, gonna give a shout out to our sponsors this week, MyBookie. It's fall, it's autumn, it's football season, and at MyBookie, that means only one thing: it's winning season. Winning season means doubling your first deposit, free bets, super contests, Survivor, and more. At MyBookie, winning season is all about your chance to win big. Bet all these playoffs going on: the NBA playoffs, the Stanley Cup Finals. Baseball's about to ramp up its playoffs. UFC. You can even bet probably the debate next week. The craziest sports summer of your lifetime is here. It's simple. Make your picks, win big, and collect your moolah. Invest in your intuition. Select from hundreds of future bets. Or you can bet games in real time using live betting, which is always interesting, especially in this season of the NFL. Put that big brain of yours to good use. Use promo code ROPES and double your first deposit. Get up to $1,000 in free play designed to add more excitement to the sports you love and the games you bet. As Jerry Seinfeld once said, otherwise you're just rooting for laundry. Thousands of cross-sports wagers, props, and parlays await. Sign up now to bet with the best and celebrate your victory. I know for a fact if you had done a parlay bet on the Emmys and just bet Schitt's Creek across the board, you'd be very happy right now with how much money you had made. Your winning season begins today, only at MyBookie. Once again, the code is ROPES. Double your first deposit up to $1,000. We thank them for their sponsorship of the Voices Wrestling Network throughout the month. Okay, Chris. NXT.
We didn't finish like AEW. You want to?
We're fine with we've done enough.
Did you have any other thoughts about Brody Lee?
I have none.
The Brody Lee and Cassidy. Well, no. I think it's a mistake, and as I was saying with Jericho.
I agree.
Isaiah Cassidy, I think, is the next guy. Another Cassidy is set to get on the Jericho Sisyphus Express.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's gonna have a match with Jericho next week. This is gonna be. I think it's gonna be another Jungle Boy style thing.
Look, I'm far past the point of being able to criticize this Dark Order angle because what's happened is the comedy has kicked in on BTE. And now everybody's kind of expected to watch BTE every week and know the inside jokes with like John Silver being the flunky and things like that. And they've gone hardcore into it. So I like Brody Lee I was hoping that it would establish kind of Dark Order as a major heel group. It's going to be a heel group for now until we get the next one. And it's probably going to be Cody coming back. Has the darker hair, so he probably has a darker outlook on life type of thing. Yeah, but it's fine. I mean, the show was still fun. I thought AEW's Wednesday night offering was quite fun for the most part.
Yeah, it was good. I'm disappointed. I like the Kingston and Moxley match a lot. Commentary missed the fact that Kingston did Kawada kicks. Like they mentioned earlier, they actually threw a Kawada kick and no one called it.
Hold on, which member of the commentary team do you expect to bring up Kawada?
Excalibur.
Okay.
Is the only one that okay, when I say I didn't want to be like,
do you think JR and Tony are watching like old New Japan tapes or All Japan tapes?
No, Hawkins, I was trying to be graceful and I didn't want to be like, let me call out Excalibur specific. Like, no, dude, graceful and Chris have never really merged well. It's oil and vinegar.
You were like a delicate ballerina being graceful.
Yeah, no, I have that. I give that aura off. But no, like Excalibur, if you're going to mention Kawada, when the dude throws the Kawada signature moves, mention those, please.
Expect Taz to come in with Kawada?
I mean, maybe. I
Veda
don't know.
Scott, maybe. I think Veda Scott.
I guess, Jeff, it is asking too much to expect commentary to reference the historical things that I'd expect commentary to reference.
Well, it just depends on their history. I agree with you. I agree that...
Well, if you're going to put Old Man River in the commentary booth, I want Old Man River to tell me the tales of the hills.
Old Man River only knows the Old Man River stuff, though. He doesn't know what happened outside of the world during that time. It's like asking a Civil War general what was going on in Europe at the time.
No, I'm saying, what is the big asset that Old Man River is supposed to bring to the table, and it's knowledge of the hills, Jeff. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. No, Chris Novembrino complains that JR doesn't know enough about Japanese wrestling.
Old men yelling about old men yelling at clouds.
Okay. Yeah, NXT was kind of a slapdash thing, but I liked the mixed tag team thing with the exception of... Can we make Fandango not a comedy guy?
Oh, God, dude. This backstage crap was awful, right?
Yes.
It's awful.
The idea of the mixed tag team thing was great.
Yes.
The execution was bad. Yeah.
Yeah, the moment with Roderick Strong and Danny Burch was very funny. Them not getting on the same page, like they can't decide whether to bump or handshake. Yeah. And then Burch tries to find a way to get his V for victory into the Undisputed Era boom thing, and I enjoyed all of that. I thought all of that was actually pretty funny. But
I think the wrong team went over because I was enjoying the hell out of the Fabian Eichner, Raul Mendoza team.
Yeah, they're fun. Yeah, absolutely.
I think they've actually teamed before in squash matches. I think that's why I liked them so much. I'm like, these are two guys finally getting something to do on the TV show that I've liked for a long time. Not that I didn't like Burch and Roddy, because, man, that tag match kind of slapped a bit. I liked it.
Yeah, no, that was actually
if I ever use the term "that match slapped" again, you can slap me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna.
That's old man hog. How you doing, fellow kids?
Yeah, I sent you a track this week I was working on. And you were like, "It slaps," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
You know what this is? This is me reading too much Twitter.
Yeah, no, for sure.
God,
if you tell me something's like on fleek, you're gonna be in trouble here, buddy.
I think Fleek has passed its prime.
No, we're bringing it back. I'm bringing it back. It's back.
Really?
I just brought it back.
Oh, the tastemaker Chris Novembrino.
Yeah, hell
okay.
Yeah, tastemaker Nove.
Yeah.
Yeah, they call me Folgers. Best part of waking up. Metronome,
because you're
Folgers, Nove Dog, Overdrive, Noverdrive. Hell,
Noverdrive. Oh, good God. Oh, we're going to have to come up with your Retribution nickname.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll fire up Streets of Rage 4 and just take one of the names off the henchmen on Streets of Rage 4, because that seems like what they did.
Anything else from Wednesday night before we get into this main roster?
Damian Priest, Austin Theory, fun little match. Austin Theory as the cocky little guy going up against the guy who's like the older version of him, who's the more success. I thought this was a fun match, simple match, good match.
Don't do a battle royale if you don't know all the participants in a battle royal.
Oh boy. Oh, I totally forgot. I just skipped over that. Cause it was I looked at this as
your girl Reyna looked good in it though.
No, I know, but this was sort of you knew that this was not like a battle royal where you needed to focus on everything. This was like a time eating battle royal. And so you can skip ahead 10 minutes.
I am done with the semantics of the rules of the battle royal.
Oh, there we go. There's another one of how do eliminations work and that sort of thing. Yes.
Yeah, my feet didn't technically touch the ground, so I'm gonna do all the Kofi stuff. After the first year it was great when it became expected.
Yes,
of talent.
Casey Catanzaro doing it with Caden Carter.
Yeah, Naomi now does it during the women's battle royal. It's a trope now.
And in this particular case, it made Caden look stupid.
Yes. Because she's doing the and then she gets eliminated.
They both look stupid though. It made Casey look greedy because Casey is supposed to be Caden's eyes in that situation. And Casey was not Caden's eye. I mean, I guess you could use this as the template for the split.
Why are we splitting them?
I don't know, because they haven't done
team.
anything. Yeah, right. They got none accolades, so I don't know.
I did like Indy Hartwell hanging out by the stairs just to kick her again. I thought that was kind of smart, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
No, you gotta jump here? All right, I'll kick you again.
No, there are people I like in this division right now or whatever. I like, this screamed we're eating up time right now. I enjoyed Tommaso Ciampa and Jake Atlas for what it was. Tough for Jake Atlas to continue to be, the punchline here, a geek. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he wasn't as big of a geek.
No, Antonio DeLuca though. Oh, great all time. Like he gets the Mulkey Award this week. I loved his look of terror. I loved his noodle punches. No, Antonio DeLuca, put the belt on that man.
And then we have a new number one contender for the NXT title after the gauntlet, Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah. And this was it was interesting. At the end of the match, Roddy comes out. He's nominally was on the face team with Danny Burch. Although, he may turn heel. Cole seemed to be actually, giving Kyle O'Reilly encouragement and earnest encouragement at that.
Which makes the split dynamics weird.
And then there was no Bobby Fish.
Yeah, it's like, okay, if Fish and Strong are the heels here, and Cole's being turned baby. What? Okay, well, maybe, I don't know. I know.
I was really scratching my head at the optics of this closing beat here, because we had pitched a couple of different dynamics, but in both dynamics we had anticipated split, and right now, unless Bobby Fish is going to turn on all of them, I see cohesion.
Yeah, maybe it's just a red herring. I don't know. We get into this main roster stuff as we go into our preview. We have a pay-per-view on Sunday. Thankfully, I don't have to watch it live because I almost got roped into doing Fightful. I will not watch this live. I will wait to see what happens. It's not some bad matches on here. It's just the build has been weird. Raw was an all-time bad Raw. I mean, the only Raw...
There have been two of those in a month. And I think you can make an earnest case that both of them were top 20 bad Raws.
And lazy. I think the problem with these Raws are they're lazy. We're watching rematches for the 100th time. The worst Raw in memory for me, where you're just watching going, this is unbearable. And the problem was it had a great ending. So it was the one where the Nexus debuted. That Raw was awful. But the Nexus came in and made it all better by just tearing up the place apart, and it was a great beatdown. This thing, we had Jerry Lawler back on commentary. Oh, thank God. Oh, hurrah, hooray.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the one thing in 2020 we needed is someone with a little bit more of a modern flavor to him. And when I'm thinking modern flavor, someone who gets the kids, Jerry Lawler.
He's working this weekend. He's working a match in Tennessee this weekend to celebrate, I think it's 50 years in wrestling. But also I think
get him working locally in Tennessee where he's a local legend. Absolutely. And
it's possible Joe wasn't available.
Who?
Mm-hmm.
Samoa
Joe. Yeah. So we had to call in a reserve who doesn't care about such things.
Well, yeah, if there's one person you don't have to worry about partying like that, Jerry never did.
I just meant he was getting on planes week 2. Hey, I'm gonna go to my job. Talk to you later. Yeah, Retribution got contracts. We have the name T-Bar, I believe, is Dijakovic. Mace is Dino. I'm gonna call him Dino.
Dio Madden.
Dio Madden.
Yeah.
Slapjack is Shane Thorne. And then Mercedes and Mia Yim are Reckoning and Retaliation. Which is
God. As I said,
those aren't even
Streets
tough
of Rage. They're rejected Streets of Rage names.
Her name is Melissa Retaliation. That's her last name. So I think Slapjack is one word. I apologize. I jumped on that joke a little too quick. It's also an Urban Dictionary, which is a little scary. Don't Google if you don't want to know. But I mean, we had all the hits on this Raw. We had Garza and Andrade getting a tag match. And
and they're gonna have another match yet again at the pay-per-view here with the Street Profits.
The Aaliyah, we're gonna be creepy again with Ray's family because it worked with Eddie, and the you're not the father stuff. Good Lord,
okay, so the storyline is bad, but so is the execution.
Yes,
it's
very Ed Wood.
Rollins
or plywood or
it is Ed Wood though. Like Rollins' acting is very B movie. Like he is a B movie villain. Murphy, come here.
Come here, twirl my mustache for me.
I wasn't trying to break up your family. Okay. Yeah, no. It's
No, you've walked directly into my trap.
we do have to eat a little crow here, though, Hawkins. The Dominic Mysterio was actually paired with Humberto Carrillo this week.
Good Lord.
Which was bad because it really was like, here's the better looking version.
The best joke I saw of this, I forgot who it was, so I can't give you credit, but I wish I'll look it up maybe while I'm doing this, but it's the man, this Humberto Carrillo and Dominic Mysterio team has training your replacement vibes.
No, I've done that, and it sure did. And then let me see, is there anything else on Raw here? Zelina Vega versus Mickie James. I don't really have a ton to say about that. Cruz versus Cedric Alexander. Was Dabba-Kato on Monday? Yeah, it was.
It was Andrew Rich. It was our boy Andrew Rich on from Music of the Mat. The Humberto and Dominic team has real training your replacement energy. So
there you go. Nicely done, Andrew.
I know he's probably yelling at the podcast the 30 seconds I was trying to find to give credit to. It was me, Hawkins, you asshole. I've had you on my show twice. Okay, fine. Yes, this was Dabba-Kato and Kevin Owens.
Okay, so yeah, Dabba-Kato. Like last week, I actually made sure to take a moment here because we crap on Raw a lot, and we crap on AEW a lot. Not like it's a hate watch thing. But
we
it's like,
lovingly snark on them.
Okay, look, when things are bad, we're gonna call them bad, right? Like, yes. And in the case of recently, there has been a lot of bad on my TV screen. Dabba-Kato has been one of the things that I wanted to make sure and observe that I thought they had handled fairly decently by any standard measure of build up until this week, where everything just went off the rails in the span of 3 hours with this guy. Mm-hmm. So Braun Strowman is a made man. He is a guy who is where he is going to be on the card. He has been champion. He is not currently really on a beeline to another title run. You wouldn't kind of anticipate him going up against Drew McIntyre anytime in the near media because you've got this Keith Lee, Randy Orton thing going on right now. So Strowman's hanging out in the mid card. These things happen. It happens to you. Dabba-Kato is a guy who is new, who we have been using the vehicle of Raw Underground to build him up. And over weeks, he has had matches and extended matches inside this Raw Underground context where he has looked strong. He has gone up against more formidable people and other names that were semi-established and gotten wins over them. He had been built pretty nicely up to this point. And everything about the 3 hours on Monday night undid weeks of work. Like, starting with the Kevin Owens show thing, where it becomes like this weird proxy war feud between Owens and Shane, but using Dabba-Kato and Braun Strowman as the proxies for the proxy war are really bad vehicles because it's not clear that either one of them are heels. And then to make matters worse, Owens picks a fight with Dabba-Kato that he gets the better of, and there's a clear size differential. And like, Dabba-Kato should have knocked Owens out right there, especially in build to this match against Braun Strowman.
Here's your big monster getting pwned by.
Yes. I'm gonna have my moment with you, Dabba-Kato. Not today, buddy. Slap. Owens goes down, and then that creates intrigue for a feud down the line. But a lot of the bloom was off that rose. The second he walks out, he has the boring, generic production music that WWE is using, but he's dressed up like a reject from the Nation of Domination in 1996. And like, this is not the vibe we were getting from Dabba-Kato in the prior week. So it's like, it just felt like this giant non sequitur. And then he's standing in the ring against Braun Strowman kind of before Raw Underground. And one of the nice things about Raw Underground, the camera coverage on Raw Underground, is that it hides height differentials. He's giving up inches to Braun Strowman. So, like, to have him then turn around and lose in this match with Braun Strowman, it's like, what was the point of all that? What, to give Braun Strowman a win? No one's going to remember it. Because Dabba-Kato didn't mean anything. Dabba-Kato only would have meant something if he had beaten Braun Strowman here.
Make a note of height differentials when we talk about Clash of Champions, because I want to talk about Asuka and Zelina Vega and the graphic they put out there. But we'll get to that. Anything non-Clash of Champions on these two shows, I am going to make mention of one thing. I adore Tucker as legal contract reader. How come your name's not on this contract? He's going to night school too for law school while he's being a wrestler. I appreciate the blue collar solid work ethic of getting a graduate degree.
Yeah, no, I do appreciate that. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about Retribution and like my actual problems with the Retribution angle. So like
everything?
Yeah, no, it is no. Okay, so like obviously
somebody showed him Dark Knight Returns from
yes. So Vince, the last movie he saw on an airplane, the last time he was on an airplane, he stayed awake the entire time, was clearly something involving the Joker or Bane. And it made a real lasting impression in his mind. And you've seen this play out on screen time and time again with Dean Ambrose doing a Bane character not all that long ago. Also with the whole SWAT team and everything. Like essentially, this is just Dean Ambrose's Antifa yet again. But like my real problem with it is not even like the fake Antifa thing or like that Vince doesn't really get what motivates Antifa. It's a lot more like Vince doesn't get why anyone would have a problem with this company. So, like, when he's making fun of the brass ring stuff, like, it's got to really sting. He's, like, not, like, owning the libs with the parody of Antifa. He's, like, owning his roster with, like, this idea that he's parodying people who would ever think that, like, maybe the way people are presented on this company is not particularly fair or talent driven, and like Vince has like weird idiosyncratic preferences and yet claims that it's a meritocracy.
Let me add another layer to that as my phone goes off in the background. Hope you can't hear that.
I can't.
Good. The added layer of them then feuding with a heel group of all African American wrestlers. We said it was probably going to be Vince's FU to Antifa by feuding with Black Lives Matter.
And so we said that kind of as a joke, but like,
now with the brass ring stuff, there's those accusations that Vince doesn't give minority wrestlers a chance type thing. So it adds that added layer of, well, look who's fighting for the WWE right now. It's nothing but the minority wrestlers that we all have in a stable and are getting a big push. How do you like that type of thing? There's a weird, and I don't even know if Vince is cognizant enough to know that it has that subtext.
No, especially when you then add the additional layer of the fact that like they're doing it as an opportunistic thing. They're not even fighting. Like the morality of this is all inverted, right? Like theoretically, the people in Retribution, what they are talking about, if you just take like not the crazy like we're gonna create anarchy stuff, but like the actual premise of like WWE is not this land of opportunity.
We were veteran wrestlers who were looked over.
Yeah, right. And we've been languishing.
Except for Dio Madden.
Yeah. But like, yes, even Dio Madden can say, oh, we've all been looked over. We're all people with clear demonstrable talents and we've all been like overlooked, blah, blah, blah. The premise is completely right. Like we've instead been languishing in obscurity.
We've banded together to take an opportunity where this company would not give us one. I like that as a ethos for a stable. We're gonna dress up in Halloween costumes to do it is kind of
oh man, the outfitting looks really bad too. Like the obvious modified catcher's mask.
It's killing them on the wrestling, and that's
also
the problem
true
because that debut stunk.
Oh, well, then to go heel versus heel. I mean, the other part of my thing with the morality stuff is like the flip of this is why is the Hurt Business in this? Remember? Like it was all, we're doing this because we want something in exchange. Like they're essentially defending the town as the evil bounty hunters, like in like old-timey Western parlance. Like they're the villainous gang who's agreed to defend the town, but for an exorbitant price. Like, there are no heroes here. Or if anything, you're sort of rooting for retribution. Like, if I was watching a Western, I think I'd be kind of rooting for the marauders over the bounty hunters who are agreeing to defend the town, but for an onerous price.
What you're doing right now is you're seeing two gangs of bad guys go at each other, and you're looking at it from the aspect of the good guys' posse and going, should we interfere right now? And then they did. They had the locker room clear out. I have a theory on this, though, and we'll get to it as we get into our picks for Clash of Champions, because I think they're going to rely on an old standard WWE trope. And it's not going to be good for the members of Retribution, unfortunately. But we go into that Sunday night. Oh God, I moved away from my card. Do you have it on?
Oh,
hand?
I do. All right, Sunday night. Let's start.
Let's start with the pre-show.
The pre-show here. On the pre-show, where you want your women's champion to be. A good place for a women's title match. And one of my
third best talent during the empty arena thing behind Sasha and Bayley, and you got Asuka on the pre-show.
Yeah, one of the all-time great wrestlers that WWE has been able to roster, at least over the last decade. Like, I mean, Asuka's a generational talent. She's awesome.
3 months of angles where we go through Andrade, Garza, Humberto Carrillo, Austin Theory, Buddy Murphy. The person getting the championship push is Zelina Vega. What? They put out a graphic.
Even weirder, as a heel, she does not work as a heel, and we'll get into why here in just a moment.
Yeah, she does a Hurricanrana, which is a
right. Well, she's really undersized, and so I think you can be an undersized heel. I'm not saying you can't, but I think if you're going to be an undersized heel, you have to have a lot of savvy as a performer. Because you do have to make some compensatory things to seem bigger and more dominating. 2, you have to be working an aggressive style of match that's kind of tempo driven.
Or a weasel, which is how they're doing it.
Yeah, you also have to be working limbs and stuff. And she needs to be getting over this idea that she is super, super cagey. And that she can win all sorts of different ways, like an evil Rey Mysterio. The way he used to be presented 1996, where he, find all sorts of fluky, quirky ways to wrap you up with a Mahi Straw Cradle or a Hurricane Rana, that only as a heel.
WWE put out a tail of the tape for this match. And it says here, Asuka, 5'3". Zelina Vega
3'6".
5'1". You're telling me that Zelina Vega is 2 inches shorter than Asuka? That's some NCAA height right there. Where I was 6'1". I would kill to be 6'1". Yeah, I just went, really? That's how they're going to do this? Is that they're almost equal? What is this company's obsession with height, Chris? Why can't she be 4'9" or whatever she is?
Their issue with being obsessed with height is that they don't understand how to use height and use the absence of height.
I thought Asuka was at least 5'5", 5'6".
I would have assumed that too. So I mean, if giving her actual kayfabe height, I bet you that's closer to her reality height. Whereas I think Zelina's is probably dressed up here a little bit. But I mean, it gets back to Vince is so paranoid about anyone being quote unquote short. He doesn't understand how to use the assets of each different height for what.
All right, so let's get in this match. If you've read my preview, it's going to be a lot of the same talking points, although I kind of did that half-assed, admittedly, because they just were just like, who wants to preview Clash of Champions? And then crickets. Everybody runs. Everybody wants to do G1 stuff. Because G1's the fun wrestling right now. Nobody wants to do the not fun wrestling, so Hawkins has to do that. So
I call this the yeoman's work. The stuff that really carries the brand. Yeoman. What I call it yeoman.
Call it Yao Ming?
No, not Yao Ming. Yeah, you're like Yeoman Rand. You seen old school Star Trek? Janice Rand, the character.
No, I don't watch Star Trek, Chris.
Yeah, you do.
This.
No, you totally told me you watch old school Star Trek.
I've never watched.
Now you're just trying to.
I referenced T'Pau because I knew she was on the old school Star Trek.
Are you trying to be cool right now? Is this you trying to be cool?
I've never been cool.
I
Ask the cat lady. Cat lady will tell you.
No, I know that. She likes me.
She hates me. Well, okay, Asuka versus Zelina Vega. Bring it back. This is such a professional show.
It is. It's well executed.
We are broadcast professionals. Semi-professionals. Anything other than murder death, I don't want to see.
No, right. I mean, I feel like Zelina just
I don't want to see Zelina Vega get the heat.
Yes. No. I think, especially since it's on the pre-show, this should be, I guess, if I was going to book this, I would go, it should be a humbling experience for Zelina Vega. Because all right, it's a foregone conclusion Asuka's winning this match. I think, especially since it's on the pre-show, they're going to do a title change, they would have put it on the card. So if I were booking this match, I would just have Zelina think that she had a much better plan for this match going in than she did, and have Asuka just completely outclass her, and have it be humiliating for Zelina. I don't know what that gets you. It's not how I would have booked this, but here we are. Boy, what a silly way to do the whole Andrade, Zelina, Humberto, and Angel Garza thing. Dumb.
Boy, this is the most obvious pay-per-view to me all year in terms of results.
Yeah,
but,
no.
I think we're going to agree on almost all of these. Bobby Lashley against Apollo Crews for the U.S. Championship. Best of 31, I guess. Hurt Business is getting pushed. Apollo Crews isn't. Seems fairly easy to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, ask yourself real quickly, is there any reason why Apollo Crews would win back this title right now? And narrative dictates that there is no good reason. I don't know why he would. I don't know what him winning back the title would do. And so, given that, I gotta say, I think Bobby Lashley wins.
The Street Profits, your tag team champions on Raw, taking on Andrade and Angel Garza.
Same exercise. Ask yourself why Andrade and Angel Garza would win back the titles right now, given the fact that
they never had the titles. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They never, yeah, right. Why would they win the titles after losing Zelina Vega?
Yeah, this is, God. And we're going to have more bickering after the match so we can get that hot Andrade Angel Garza feud. So the Street Profits were both on page with that. Triple threat ladder match for WWE's Intercontinental Championship. All right. The trope of the guy coming back from double shoulder surgery in a ladder match in Sami Zayn, and two guys over 40 in Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles. Go out there and kill yourselves, fellas. And then to build it up on the Go Home show, we have a triple threat match for no reason.
This is not the first time they've done that, though. Like, this has become a trope. Their vision of Go Home matches are literally just doing the match you're going to see on Sunday before the match on Sunday.
The Joe Bob Briggs School of Sequels, when in doubt, just make the movie over again.
Oh, man.
Sami Zayn won the triple threat, so WWE rules of booking. Whoever wins the match on the Go Home show will not win at the pay-per-view. So who do you got, Hardy or Styles?
I'm going to say Hardy.
I'm going to say Hardy retains as well.
Yeah.
I think he moves on to another Sheamus feud or something.
Yeah, I could be talked into Styles, but I'm going to say Hardy.
Oh, by the way, Matt Riddle losing clean as a sheet to Baron Corbin.
Oh, my God.
What?
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 Dude, his new logo, his like 3-dimensional logo is a flip-flop.
He dead. Dead in the water.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, he's done. He's done. I mean, I like the guy. I know. I mean, I liked him as an on-screen act. I think the act makes sense, and he's got layers or whatever. I'm aware of his off-screen problems. I'm acutely aware of his off-screen problems. But like, once you're the flip-flop dude, what he's gonna beat people up with the chancleta? Come on.
Speaking of tag teams with issues, WWE SmackDown tag team titles are on the line as the Lucha House Party in their swan song as a unit. Calling my shot now.
Oh no, it's a Grecian tragedy, Jeff. This is heartbreaking stuff.
Take on Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. This could be a fun match, but it's going to be all about the Lucha House Party problems, isn't it?
Yes, right. So the intrigue is who is going to be in the match. I'm going to call my shot and say it's Gran Metalik and Lince Dorado, and Kalisto cost them the match, and then afterwards, that's what leads to the split here, with Kalisto going heel.
This is going to be interesting because Lince Dorado has posted a picture without the mask, or at least looking at the mask and saying goodbye. So it could be, they could do something stupid.
Oh,
like
a
Kalisto costs them the
thing.
match, and then Metalik sides with Kalisto, and they kick out Lince Dorado.
Or Lince is it's just a dumb swerve-ski where Kalisto's been the jerk the whole time here, but for whatever reason, Lince Dorado's the one who goes heel.
I had not considered that, but that is so stupid.
No, that's a WWE move.
Oh my god!
We'll refer to that from now on as the swerve ski, where it's a completely unearned reverse turn.
So I got Cesaro and Shinsuke retaining.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We'll probably get something like Matt Riddle and Shorty G. And here's an aside because I just
Squire
like doing
G.
asides. I mean, we're riffing this morning. It's early. Who's the mystery NXT guy? Former champion?
Mystery former champion for what?
On that vignette that they had on the TV that I'm guessing you missed.
I did.
Okay.
I kind of like this more. This is more fun. Who's the
because
mystery?
they're guessing because the commentary is guessing it's Bo Dallas. But I think it's either going to be Bobby Roode or Chad Gable.
It's got to be Bobby Roode. Maybe Chad Gable. I'm going to go Bobby Roode.
I think it's going to be Bo Dallas because they're going to introduce him as something serious, and then he's going to take it over. He's going to be doing that Bo Leave crap, and it's going to be, oh look, he's just putting smiles on faces and stuff like that.
Bo Leave. God, no, I hope not. I hope it's not Bo. I mean, I think I like Bo Dallas in the ring more than most people do. I don't think he's a generational talent or anything like that, but I think he's entertaining.
I liked the chicken heel thing, and I liked his exit from NXT.
Yeah, that was a great segment. Yeah,
they had to kick him off, but I don't know. I could see Bobby Roode, him just going, look, if you've given up on me, let me go down to NXT and help the kids as a trainer coach. I could also see Chad Gable going, look, if you're not using me on this main roster, let me go have great matches and continue to grow. I could see both of those guys.
Yeah, that's true too.
And then going, well, technically the world champion could also be a world tag team champion. And then it becomes that.
Yeah, and I do think any of those three guys will benefit from the scenery change.
Bo Dallas won't.
Nobody
cares about Bo Dallas.
Nobody cares about Bo Dallas, but okay, it's the difference between Tyler Breeze being on the main roster versus Tyler Breeze being on the NXT roster. At least he's a champion right now.
Still bad.
No, he sucks. I'm not saying it's a great push. We love this angle.
No. You got to walk that one back. Because he does not suck. Tyler Breeze does not suck.
I'm not saying Tyler Breeze sucks. I'm saying this angle that he is involved in.
Yes.
The character. He has not been developed into a thing that has been
he's playing the hits. He's playing the hits.
He's not even playing the hits. If he was playing the hits, he'd be doing the Zoolander gimmick. He's doing this neutered, living on goodwill of a character he no longer does thing at this point. So no, I'm not gonna walk that back. No, it sucks in the sense of he's still doing dumb comedy stuff, and it's not even new at this point. When they were doing the parody of Twin Peaks, it's a cover of that and other stuff. But like, look, he's in a title picture now. He's actually a part of the program in a way where on the main roster for the last 2 years, like him and Dango had been like main event guys in the sense of like on that show called Main Event that you can't find anywhere on television.
Fightful Select reports Chris Novembrino says Tyler Breeze sucks.
They would. Shaky outlet. Fake news.
Oh, come on, man. I work for them sometimes.
see, my stand corrected. It really shaky outlet.
Speaking of tag teams that are having issues, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defend against the Riot Squad, Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. Oh, this is going to be histrionic central as both teams start having issues, and the Riot Squad, I think, overcomes, and this will be the only title match that the title switches on.
Yeah. I think this has to be your title change, right? Like, this is very
and
close.
then Nia and Shayna go into a feud, which is something we've all been waiting for.
Craving. Yeah. This is what the people crave.
And they don't get the Riot Squad over as mending fences that well because of the whole, like Ruby hits Liv at some point, and Liv's gonna walk away and leave the partner, and then Liv comes back, and and then they hug and they win the title. And
and the go home angle on this to bring it back.
This is weird,
right? This is so strange. Like Liv and Ruby were basically heels on Monday. In a lot of
watching
ways.
Someone getting slammed through a table while smiling. What was that?
Well, I mean, I think, why was Lana singled out? I think the other show is the culprit there. It sure feels
hold on. Your husband is getting we didn't talk about that. That debut match stunk too.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, that debut match stunk, and again...
It looked like he got hurt during it, too, which scared the crap out of me, because I like Miro.
Oh, I like him. Yeah. No, I like him a lot. It's just...
Yeah, she's getting punished for the husband's sins, as is WWE's want.
No, that's... I don't bring that up conjecturally. I bring that up contextually, because this is a company that has a history of doing things of that sort.
Yes.
Yeah. It was weird for them to just kind of watch that, and then they'd be antagonizing, but then they also powdered. They headed for the hills when it came time for a confrontation with Shayna and Nia. It's a very, very strange dynamic. It's weird. Ruby and Liv could win and also turn heel.
Okay. I'd be for that.
I think I'd be for that too. I think.
Do we have babyface teams though in the WWE that can face them? We can't turn the Iconics.
Well, they're not allowed to team together anymore because
that's
reasons.
True too.
Yeah. No, as you know, the official
but they're still friends, Chris.
Right, they're allowed to.
Which isn't that bad of a story if Peyton doesn't throw Billie Kay into Raw Underground to get her ass beat.
Right, and they never explain that, and like. I in their heads they're probably like the writing is probably like, well, we're just kind of leaving that in the air. That's a thing that has not been discussed between them.
Chris, if we're having issues, like we have one of those off air knockdown drag out fights that we've had occasionally, and you throw me into an underground fighting pit, I'm not forgiving you next week.
Well, what if it was in service of building Dabba-Kato?
Well, even worse, because I think Dabba-Kato would kill me.
Well, I know, but this is a future main eventer.
And I'm not going up against Fight and Play. I'm going up against Dabba-Kato, for God's sakes. Yeah, let's move on. This whole thing is weird. The great Aunt Pam, who I did not like this promo on Friday. I hate to say it. Bayley taking on Nikki Cross. I don't like this match. I don't like this booking. I don't think they should be doing this match because this next match for Nikki Cross, this next title match, is important to Nikki Cross being viable because you've added the she can't win the big one aspect to it.
And the idea that other people don't believe in her. So if there's someone who actually really has the underdog status, and that this is a good thing for the company, and this is a good thing for the division and stories you want to tell with Bayley, but Nikki Cross is that underdog. And she is, one, not going to win in this match. I'll call my shot on that right now. But two, and more importantly, to take my shot a little bit further here, I think this is going to be a backdrop for like Alexa Blissy type stuff. So it's not even really going to be focusing on her as it's going to be focusing on Alexa Bliss Fiend plot advancement.
Yeah, the Nikki Cross is number 4 on people on my list who have been helped in the empty arena era after the other 3 women in the division. Like the women's division has been good. The empty arena stuff where they're not yelling CM Punk and going what during promos has helped a lot of people in the women's division. There was a week where they decided to sex up Nikki Cross, which is weird. And I kind of agree. There's only one of 3 ways this can go. Sasha returns and helps Nikki win the title. I don't think that's going to happen. Sasha returns and ends up screwing Nikki Cross in a way by attacking Bayley, or Alexa Bliss and The Fiend and another sister Abigail, or putting the claw in her mouth, and it becomes, why did my best friend screw me out of my best opportunity type thing.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. That's how they're going to get around this. Well, see, we're not going to have Nikki actually lose. We're going to have it because Alexa Bliss cost her the match, and so we're going to go on.
I can see the claw come in from like under the ring, like from the apron. You know, like up comes Alexa Bliss, puts the claw on Nikki Cross. Bayley and the referee don't see it. Bayley crawls in for the pin, gets the win. Yeah. Option number 4 is the
Osiren portal comes out and hypnotizes everybody, and they start breakdancing.
Well, no, I was going to say option number 4 is it was a plan all along, and Bayley and Sasha reunite for no reason.
Oh my God, no.
Hey, they did it with Cedric Alexander. It's not out of the realm of possibility. You're apparently allowed to get the crap kicked out of you and
you guys
be friends
believed
again.
that she actually stomped the chair on my neck?
Yeah, right. Oh, you bought that?
Oh, dear Lord. They did that.
They did that with the Hurt Business and Cedric Alexander, though. Like, they beat him up before the match.
And then he turns. Yeah. And just,
it was a plan all along.
And Sasha joins the Hurt Business, which I wouldn't mind.
That would be fun, actually. Her and MVP.
They need to get women in stables. You know, or even have a female stable for once. Faction, if you will. You know, although they're doing that with Retribution, Hawkins. Never mind.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah,
where
are the kudos and plaudits for that, Hawkins?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Don't you ever use plaudits on this show again.
I will use plaudits whenever I please.
That's too big a word for me at this time of morning. Yeah. Okay, so Bayley retains this title, and we move on to a Hell in the Cell match, right? I just don't know if it's a triple threat. That's the thing.
I'm gonna say no.
Or I think 4-way. God,
maybe a 4-way. Okay, and I definitely think along the way here you'll see like Nikki Cross and Sasha Banks maybe become friends.
Oh, Bayley and Alexa, which is just a team that makes no sense.
No,
because of their history against Nikki and Sasha.
Okay, but like Bayley and Alexa, especially with like Alexa kind of like having the 2 different personalities and the personality war inside herself, and Bayley with the clear like feeling conflicted. Like, I didn't like this promo either, and I think Bayley's been missing the mark for me recently, like emotionally.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
the scenery chewing isn't working, and that's the problem.
Yeah. No,
less is more. If she would just come out and straight up, hey, I've known Sasha for a long time. She's turned on everybody. She's the one heel who could have a good reason for turning on. But then she expounds and then becomes not a good reason.
Right.
She's the one performer where that would work.
Yeah, and they haven't been nailing that. No.
My idea was to call her Latina Heat and to take away the Eddie Guerrero fandom from
I
Sasha.
think if she started doing like the frog splash and like signature
Yes.
Eddie moves and
Yes.
stuff to like rub it in, and also like a lot of Eddie's heel mannerisms and stuff, just to like one, because it would help her heal it up a little bit. Two, it would also be rubbing in the face of Sasha.
Sasha, who loves Eddie Guerrero.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think that'd be fun.
Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman taking on the dumbest babyface in wrestling, Jey Uso. I'm loving Uso's mullet starting to form. I'm digging that.
Yeah. His like rocker mullet.
But this thing, I mean, I liked the go home promo from Jey Uso. Don't get me wrong,
dude. I even like the package. Like,
yeah. If
he wasn't booked as like dumber than a box of rocks, like this would be a really, really fun angle, right? I'm the chief and I gotta put food on the table and
it's an interesting story.
Let
me give the plaudits.
And kudos and
kudos and it's an interesting story to tell. But they didn't earn the goodwill of then Roman turning on a guy. Everybody, we know the turn was there because he's been not coming to the ring and they too many breadcrumbs, man. They could have played this thing straight, and then had the oh my god turn. Even though we knew it was coming, I mean, you're never gonna. Pro wrestling.
Once he's aligned with Paul Heyman, it's pretty obvious. But like, Heyman's presence in this makes perfect sense, and I think the way they're doing the video packages and they're showing Afa and Sika, and you're getting that, and you're seeing how this story is kind of developing long term, and how you could have like The Rock come in and make a cameo.
I found the issue here.
Okay.
When you have Heyman in the story, he has to bring in Jay to trust them. And he could use, hey man, I managed your father in the Samoan SWAT team. I know how to, you know what? Your family's always been important to me. I'll take care of you while your brother's out and rehabbing, but I'm also taking care of your cousin here. Come on in, trust us, and then they screw him. That kind of thing. That's what had to be done here. And from the get-go, it was Roman's being standoffish and man, you've changed with money. It's
been there, and like Jay just like refuses to accept it. But like, it's gone a step further. Where like this week, like he has the belt, or he didn't have the belt. He's in the ring. He's trying to call out Roman. Finally gets Roman out there. Roman says his thing, and then Roman's walking away. Uso picks up the microphone after Roman, tells off Uso and saying, "I'm always going to be number one. I'm always going to be better than you. Like, I'm going to win on Sunday. You're going to lose. Like, that's how it's going to go." And then Uso says, "But what if you're wrong?" That moment ruled. Like, that was awesome.
I love that.
That was awesome. And like, if they had just stopped and stared at each other and we had done one long static shot, which would have been driving Kevin Dunn and the boys in the production truck absolutely crazy, because normally we need 50 cuts in a minute.
Sit there and burn.
Burn
eyes to each other.
Let them stay there. And then he goes, "What if I was world champion?" He doesn't even say, and at the end of the match, the announcer goes, "New world champion Jey Uso." He says, he says that line, and people always ask, "Which one are you?" The obvious, like, punchline to the whole, everyone's always asked, "Which one are you?" is when the announcer says, "New world champion Jey Uso," everyone will know which one I am.
You're dead on this. You're dead on this entire thing. Yeah, they're going to do what they're going to do here.
No, it's disappointing because, like, I theoretically, I could totally buy into this as a story, and like Jay getting knocked down the ladder and us doing like a long form story with Jay. He's a good enough wrestler that he can carry that. He's an interesting enough guy. He's a good enough talker. He's a charismatic enough dude. He's a guy you can do this long form story with. And that, it just
Uso wins the 4-way, and then he goes through Sheamus and Corbin and maybe Cesaro and gets those big wins as a solo act with no chicanery. And you're building him as a threat to the world title, kind of like I don't want to say Ricky Morton versus Flair, because Morton had so much better goodwill from fans, but maybe like Ron Garvin versus Flair when they had the Barbarian challenge Ron Simmons at some point, which is weird. It's that kind of matchup where the challenger needs a big major build, and they just did not give it to him. And I don't know.
Jay was just kind of like airdropped into this.
Boy, I get the feeling they're gonna make him a moron in this match, too.
Yeah, no, I
get the feeling he's gonna have Roman on the ropes, and he's gonna say that he can't do it because they're family, and then Roman's gonna take advantage and spear him 1, 2, 3.
Yes, he's gonna have an opportunity to use the title to cheat to get the win.
Yes, and he's gonna look at it for a while,
and he's not gonna do it, and then Roman's gonna hit him with the title.
He's gonna spear him and him with the title. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's where this goes. I mean. The worst part about this is you've already gotten so far ahead of this with Roman coming out and hitting Uso with the Superman punch. And then the other thing that they did here, which, I mean, they'll just walk away from it, so it's not a problem. But apparently people do watch the show after the show is taped, and wrestlers do watch the replay. Because Jey Uso watched the replay and saw Roman smiling behind his back, which made it even dumber. Or like all of that was so stupid. And they're so close to telling not just a good but a great story, and they've found that nice twist between great and kind of stupid.
Yeah, agreed. For the WWE Championship, Drew McIntyre against Randy Orton. Now, here's the thing, as I like to say, or as others like to say as well. Hashtag here's the thing. Retribution's getting involved in this match one way or another. There's no reason to put them on all over Raw and not have them be a part of this thing.
Well, they're not even allowed to be part of SmackDown, so. And Retribution respects that. It's part of their contract.
Here is my theory, and I will call my shot on this. Drew McIntyre is going to win this match, and he's going to put Randy Orton in the ambulance somehow. But Drew McIntyre is also getting put in this ambulance at the end of the night. And Keith Lee is going to be revealed as the leader of Retribution.
Are they going to knock over the ambulance? Like a box?
Yes. I could see that too. I could see that happening.
Yeah. We're this is how we treat your WWE.
Keith Lee was brought in about the same time Retribution started appearing. They like attaching factions that aren't exactly lighting the world on fire with an established superstar. He has main event level credibility, I think, now in their eyes.
And he's dating Resurgence, right?
Is that the name Resurgence?
Is it Revisitation?
I think it's Retcon. No, Reckoning.
Okay.
Damn near killed an.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Mercedes is Retaliation. Mia is Reckoning.
Okay. There you go.
My favorite offline trivia about this is that they all have alt accounts now for these characters, and they only follow each other and Malcolm Bivens, which I'm all for Malcolm Bivens being a part of Retribution. I am.
I'm for that. Look,
I'm for it being about his CD player. If we're gonna go being the elite all the way,
this is not a good angle, but I'm not going to fault any of these people for one making a kayfabe Twitter account and having some fun with it. And also, I'm not going to overstress this as a reviewer or analyst and say that this is career shattering for any of these people. I think the only person who's maybe, doomed by this is Shane Thorne. But I'd argue ever since TM61 it lost the titles and kind of had to split up here, that Shane Thorne was going to need to find something to do within the context of this company. It was going to be kind of tricky. So
Shane Thorne's going to be the guy that they get rid of, right?
Slapjack to me is the guy who's going to be the champion one day. You mark my words.
I love the name and I love the look, but he's the guy taking
2022 is Slapjackamania.
He's the guy taking all the falls, right?
Oh yeah,
because they're not going to do that to Dio Madden.
Well, unless they come up with a guy named Patsy.
Oh, that's what. Bob. Slapjack Tabar, Mace, or Mackie, and Bob.
And Patsy.
Bob and Patsy, yes. Well, Patsy... How do you come up with Bob as a code name? It was the first thing I could think of, so I'm Bob. Oh, it's me, Bob. It's a whole Norm Macdonald bit. It's me, Bob. Yeah, no, but I think Drew wins the match, and it's the stupid, and Retribution has caused havoc across the WWE universe. Who's going to be the ones to stop them?
I mean, the other way. So I'll go one step further and give the qualification. Maybe this goes to a non-finish of sorts, where both McIntyre and Orton end up in the ambulance.
Yeah.
But either way, the night ends with Drew McIntyre still as champion.
Yes, and probably Retribution standing tall, and oh my God, what does this mean for the future if Keith Lee's the leader? I think Keith Lee's going to be the leader of this. Yeah, and we're gonna talk about this as an all-time bad pay-per-view, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, there's just nothing to get particularly excited about.
I am scared to death. Somebody gets hurt in that ladder match.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm always worried whenever Hardy's doing this stuff, that he is known for in his career, which spans the 1990s.
It's such a Sammy thing to do to him too. It's that Daniel Bryan or Sheamus or Sin Cara's just coming back from an injury, so we're gonna put you in the big ladder match for the mid card title at WrestleMania, so you can get power bombed through a couple ladders to show how tough you are.
Yeah, and also like a whole little angle worked around how you took time off. Or whatever. Yeah. Like, you just, you stayed home and now you still think you're champion. You still think you could be the champion even when you take time off from this company. And that's not how it works here. It's a very WWE trope. It was particularly funny coming from AJ Styles, though. Let me just put it that way. Not good judgment, man, when I think of that phrase.
Again, we'd like to thank my bookie. Use code ROPES. Go bet on games while we still have them. Might not be long.
Oh man, dude. I mean, wrestling. They're on a razor's edge right now.
You can put bets on Clash of Champions, I think too. So
who wouldn't want to bet on it and make it spicy?
If anybody wants to drop in the DMs and tell me who's winning, you can use the money. Especially after this week on the market. You can follow me at GrapGame13. You can follow Chris at Chris Novembrino. If you just want to follow the show when the episodes drop, it is at Shake Them Ropes, all one word. It's less than 40 days until the election. Joe Biden called another lid before 9:30. Chris is following all the politics.
Oh, yeah. We're getting ready for the upcoming debates here. Debate Tuesday night. I'm going to be dropping an episode same day. So if you are not subbed up, go over to don'tworry.tv. Get on iTunes. Get on Stitcher. Get on Spotify. Look for Don't Worry About the Government. Subscribe to Don't Worry About the Government. Check it out on Patreon. I always put out bonus episodes and a lot of bonus music. I make a whole bunch of production music for the show as well. So when you support the show over there at patreon.com/DWATG, you get bonus shows and all of the music that I'm putting out. And I'm making a lot of music these days. I sent some to Hawkins. Hawkins says it slaps. So if that doesn't count for something, I don't know what does.
Well, I just hope all our listeners go to Apple iTunes and review both of our shows and give it plaudits.
Yes, and kudos